Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game. There is only one key to open the device. It's in the stomach of your dead cellmate. You better hurry up. Live or die. Make your choice.
Okay, greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and it is time to play a little game. We are doing the Saw podcast, where we're going to talk about the series and the characters and all that fun stuff. So I'm your host, Renegade Operative, and I'd like to introduce my panel. So first we have Des.
Hi, I'm Des. It's been a while since I've done a podcast, so I'm really happy to be here. Especially since Saw was one of my favorite series.
Was. All right, let's kick her off the panel. Oh no, never mind. So next up is Austin.
Hello there, I'm Cool Austin. I also haven't done a podcast in a while, and I've seen just about all the Saw movies except Spiral, and last time I saw the movies was like 4 years ago.
Oh, this is gonna be fun for you then. Next up is Mr. Drillbit.
Oh, hey everyone, this should be fun. I have not seen Spiral as well, so I can't really offer any input on that.
Next up is Mr. Brendan.
Hi, I legit forgot we were doing this month, so I didn't have enough time to prepare some notes for it, but I'll go off the cuff this time.
And last but not least is Lady Tolkien.
You saved the best for last, didn't you?
No.
Hi, Lady Tolkien. You guys are probably very familiar with me. I'm on quite a few podcasts. Super excited for this one. Saw has been one of my favorite franchises since I was in high school, so I'm really super excited to talk about it.
Okay, I tried to make this super simple as possible because people told me they haven't seen these movies in like 8 years. So let's make it super simple. How did you get introduced into the Saw franchise? What appealed to you with this concept in the first place? Who wants to go first?
I might as go.
All right.
Short. Truth be told, I have no idea how I got into it. I do remember seeing a lot of commercials during the 10 year when it was at its high. So I was going from Saw 5 all the way down to Saw 3D. But I don't remember which my first movie I'd seen. I want to say it was Saw 2, because that's the one I have most memory of. But at the same time, that's the one I watched the most, right? But yeah, I don't know, can pin it down though. But I started binge watching them during middle school along with other horror movies though, and that's how I got hooked to Saw.
Ooh. All right, I'll go next real quick, cause damn, I just think that mine's is like real simple and boring. I just think that what happened was my mother was buying the Saw DVDs, a lot of horror movies, Jason, Freddy, all that stuff, and I just started picking through them, and I'm like, huh, this is interesting. This is a nice cover. Oh wait, it's like an X-ray cover with like fingers and disembodied legs and shit. Okay, so I'll watch it, and that's how I popped it in my PS2, and I was mesmerized by like all the gore and the story and the lore that they were telling with the first Saw movie. That's how I got like really enticed into it. And I thought the story of Kramer and how he was dealing the traps and everything, and people, you know, being tied to bathtubs and having to cut off their foot was a harrowing experience, but interesting nonetheless. That's how I got into it, just watching a bunch of horror DVDs and trailing through, and that caught my eye like really bad. So who is next? Who has their first experience with Saw?
I could do it.
Good.
But yeah, sorry, I might have to mute if I have to cough, by the way.
That's fine.
But I think my first experience was let's see. It was when my sister rented it from like Blockbuster. Remember those?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had one around my way.
Yeah, and honestly, back then I thought it was just really the scariest shit you ever seen because I think beforehand we were always used to like the teen horror stuff like Scream, where at least it went more into like dark humor.
Yeah, Saw was
So,
like
and
just
that,
always serious.
yeah, and Saw goes in for like complete. Well, the first one's not really too gory, but it was like a complete tonal shift compared to what came out after Scream. And yeah, and then of course you find out that there's actually it's more of like a murder mystery than like a shock film. And yeah, and then honestly, I started to get into the series when I heard about all of like how the plot just keeps getting more wild with each film, and I couldn't believe it. So yeah, that's my experience with it, really.
Anyone else?
I'll go next. I was accidentally introduced into the Saw series. Saw 4 was the first one I kind of sort of saw from behind my couch because I was terrified of scary movies when I was younger.
Saw.
Um, so my dad, I guess he had seen the ones before it and wanted to watch the fourth one. And so we had a family movie night, and Saw 4 ended up being the one that scarred me because I think I was just getting into watching scary movies. So I had watched some more like tame stuff compared to Saw. And it was just too much. It was too much. Didn't end up finishing it. And then once I like got more into the horror genre, um, which surprisingly it's my favorite thing now. I was like, all right, cool. I'll just go and try to watch Saw and start from Saw 1. And I worked my way up from Saw 1. But Saw 4 will always be that one that I'm just like, yep, that I'm not gonna forget that one.
Okay, go ahead.
I think the very first one I saw, I believe, was the first one. I didn't see it until quite a few years after it came out. My parents were the kind of parents that were like, "Oh, we don't watch horror movies in this household," and so
Boo!
I didn't get to do any like fun horror things until high school, when I was with my first boyfriend, and then we watched it together, and I was instantly taken in by it because I think there's a little psycho part of me that just liked the traps and watching how they worked and if people could figure out how to get out of them, and the whole story just sucked me in, and I was a fan ever since.
Oh boy. So this question is gonna take eons to answer, and I know this. What is your favorite mechanical trap / escape scenario within the Saw franchise? There's a lot of them.
I actually want to make mine quick, I guess. My favorite one is actually the one from Saw 4, where the guy had to punch his eyeballs out, and if he doesn't, his body gets ripped to shreds. I don't know why, but I just love the cynicism around that trap.
I
I feel like there was some meaning behind it that I can't remember. Meaning?
Okay. Essentially, since the guy was a rapist, he quote unquote led it on blindly to his obsession or whatever the fuck it was. But by having his body tapped, though, his body cannot hurt anyone else anymore. That's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah, he got his arms pulled off, his legs. It was honestly, when I got to that part, as I said in chat, I was like clapping because he kind of really deserves it. And and the cop was like, lay on the bed, just die, just get it over with. I think another one that was really good in Saw 4 was the beginning trap where there's one guy with like no eyes, and then there's the other guy with like his mouth sewn up. So the key is on the back of the head of the guy who has no eyes, and the guy who has no mouth can't tell him. So he has to like sort of get in a fight with them, and they're all fighting blind, and it's just super wild. And then he find the guy with the mouth or whatever that's sewn up. He kills him with a hammer, the guy with no eyes. So I thought that was like sort of cool, see no evil, do no evil. He did evil with the hammer to his head, and that was pretty sickening, but it was ingenious in a way. That's the one I really liked.
Probably
Yeah.
a personal favorite of mine was the shotgun carousel from 6, because that one, like, I feel like that could go like like it could go in any direction depending on like like who he decides to save and who he just lets get shot, and it's honestly just a really it's a really terrifying trap for pretty much everyone, honestly.
Yeah, I think the guy had to put his hand in a device and let it prick him twice, and
Yeah, I think yeah,
everyone was like,
it had to like stab his hand, and that was just oh.
"Yep, that was the only way to save like two of them," and he could only do it for two people. And there were people like sort of trying to lie, saying, "Oh, I'm pregnant," or I'm the one who made you in this company. You need to help me." So it was a lot of dramatic tension on that one.
Yeah.
That one oh wait, are you done? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay. I was like that actually was one of my favorite ones because I just thought it was really it was an interesting trap. And I think I was watching the kill count for some of these, and I think it James was like, "Oh, this was the trap that like killed the most people at once." And I was like, "Oh, that's really interesting." But that was one of my favorite traps because it's just I feel like the moment of like panic that you have to go through to be like, "Oh God, like who do I save? Who do I save?" And the moment of panic that I felt like while watching that scene was a bit much.
Yeah, he said 4 people had to die, but 2 people could live. So that was like a quad whammy. I don't know.
That was me. I would let everyone die. I'm just kidding.
I think you could do that technically if you wanted to. You wouldn't prick your
Yeah.
hand either.
I don't like
the
any of you. So
the
you guys can
shotgun
go.
is still shot either way, so like it just aimed straight up if he put his hand in the contraption. So
mention,
everybody
like-
could have died.
Not to mention, like, usually people who get involved with these kind of traps are not good people, so
No.
they could all just be lying to you for all you know.
Yeah. They'd be traumatized for life though, but you know.
I guess if I had an honorable mention real quick, I would say that Venus flytrap sort of thing where it was wrapped around the woman's abdomen and it would pull one side off and the other side off if she like basically did not get out. And I think that was the one where she couldn't escape because Amanda was being, an asshole.
I think
Yeah,
that was
there
the
are
one-
a
wasn't
few
that-
unescapable ones.
I think that's Saw
I thought
3.
that was the one where she had. Wasn't that the? If I'm thinking of the right one, wasn't that the one where she had to? There was a key, and she had to put her hand in
And the
like,
acid, yes.
acid. Yeah,
Yes. That was the one.
yeah, that was a lot too.
And then she failed, so both of her sides got like ripped to shreds, and that was quite nasty but beautiful at the same time. It's a weird scene. Like, I don't know. Because of the
Yeah,
lighting and everything, it looks good.
Like, she just turned into art.
Oh god, Jesus Christ. You know what?
There's Stefano over here.
Stefano from Evil Within 2.
Mm-hmm.
Cat, you haven't gone yet.
Nope, I was waiting.
Well, I was gonna say something real quick, but
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Drew.
yeah, I guess for me it would probably be the reverse, the bear trap, the reverse one. That's the one that's probably like the most iconic.
Oh, you mean the thing on their head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't see it actually get used until the 6th movie though, but it looks very gory.
It doesn't kill anyone until 3D, which was Jill's wife. I mean, sorry, Jill's
Well,
wife.
7th.
Sorry.
Yeah, the 7th film.
Yeah.
But at
Hoffman
least we got
real lucky.
At least we got to see what it does.
As far as I know, because I have a inclination of what it does after it kind of fucked Hoffman up a little bit. It basically rips your jaw off, and if you don't get it off in time, you're basically just, your whole head is just done.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah, like you see it in the 7th movie and it looks pretty nasty.
Also, what
we-
you saying, Des?
I was gonna say, are we talking about the contraption? I'm sorry, I like blinked for a second. Are we talking about that contraption that's like covers your entire head?
Yes.
Didn't Amanda also sort of
Have one
Yeah.
on? Yes.
Yeah, she had one on. It was in the very first movie, the first trap, I believe, but it didn't go off in that one. The second
reverse
time we
bear
seen
trap?
it was with Hoffman. Third time I've
Oh,
seen
it
it,
didn't
Jill
go.
died.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's amazing how iconic that trap is, and it didn't work 2 times in a row.
That man
That would
Hoffman
have
was
been
smart.
I was gonna say that would have been a really interesting one to see.
Yeah, Hoffman was smart. I think he put his trap inside of the glass door when he broke the side of the door, the panel, and then it got caught in the bars. But he still
Yeah.
got messed up by it because like half his jaw was like just done.
Even then, he had to like get out of there quick because it was gonna overpower like the bars stopping it too.
Yep. Also, Kat, finally it's your turn.
So I kind of had two. Drill already said the reverse bear trap, and the reason why I picked that one is, to me, it's a simple design, but yet it seemed like so many people were afraid of it. Especially Hoffman himself looked like he shit himself when he realized that that's what he had on him. So I think that really says a lot about that trap itself. It's so frightening that a lot of people hated it. But then I also liked, I guess you couldn't necessarily say it's a trap, but I really appreciated the fifth movie. I know it's hated on a lot, but the reason I liked it was the sequence of traps and everybody was supposed to work together on. I kind of liked the idea of people were supposed to figure out the traps together or to get through each one instead of trying to just figure it out yourself and then they end up killing each other off because of it. And I also liked the setup in that way as well instead of just individual traps.
Yeah, I agree with you though, but I wasn't sure if that would be counted because considering the conception of the trap, quote unquote, right? But I do agree with you. That was probably the most interesting thing in setup for the survivors in Saw movies.
I want to agree with that too. I actually wrote Saw 5 down as a whole.
Yeah, I think that started in 2 where it started to become more people
Ren?
in one trap. Ah,
Oh,
shit. My mic got muted again, so can you hear me now?
No.
Okay, shut up. As I was saying, I said I think Saw 2 was when they started the whole contraption thing with multiple people, and if someone didn't do something right, or if someone had to join in on the fun, like the needle pit, then it was multiple people like sort of freaking out. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna beat this trap? We need teamwork. Some people are scared, some people are a little bit, valorous, you know what I mean? So it's an interesting concept, but I think that's the only way that the sequels could have developed, by doing something like that, making it team based. But anyone else on the favorite mechanical traps or any honorable mentions before we move on to the horrible ones? I have
Can I
one.
make an honorable mention?
Sure.
In Jigsaw, I mean, I know it's not much, it's nothing like crazy like a lot of the other traps or whatever, but the shotgun kill at the end of Jigsaw was really interesting to me because I didn't think that it was going to shoot out the other way, and the fact that there was the riddle that was basically told them that, hey, whoever's aiming it at the other person, the person that's holding the shotgun is the one that's going to get killed.
I'm trying to think of one more.
I think another honorable mention for me was the one that was at the start of the sixth film where they had to like cut off pieces of themselves onto these like weights, and whoever put on the least amount of weight would end up dying, and that woman just straight up cuts off her own arm.
No, yeah, the pound of
Which one was
flesh.
that again? Was it 6?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one I also really like that one because like not only is it just really brutal, it's also something that's definitely very doable.
Yeah, that's the pound of flesh where the guy had to cut off all of his rolls and put it in the basket, and then the woman had the arm, so she just cut off her whole arm and put it in there, and the guy just died.
Yeah,
I think the trap.
that
Good.
And you think that like the guy is gonna end up winning because he just has so much more like he's a much bigger guy, so he has more to give. But like I like that subvertive expectations with the woman just cutting off her own arm.
Yeah, I think if you fail that one, it's like a head device that has like drills on the side, and if you fail, then it's going to drill into your brain and you die. Oh man, there's so many. I
At
didn't
least
like
it's
that.
quick death.
Yeah, I think the other one that happened in 3 was kind of cool as well, where the guy was like on some sort of device and it was twisting his body and bones and arms and head in the other direction. So the father or whatever who had his like child kidnapped and his wife and whatever, he had to save him, and if he didn't, then his organs and skin and flesh would go in the other direction. I thought that was kind of ingenious, to be honest. But
And oh god, I remember that one. That one's still painful to watch.
as soon as I saw that man's neck going in the other direction, I'm like, "You were done, fam. Just say goodnight. Silent night,
If
holy
he,
night."
like, honestly, I think he would have been gone before the neck.
Yeah, cause what is it? Bleeding out and
Yeah.
organs and blood. Just
Yeah.
ain't nobody saving him. Well, Drill, do you have any other favorites? Oh, all right then.
Well, I guess like one I did like was I think it was Saw 4 where there was those 2 ice blocks that squished the guy's head. I thought that was pretty cool.
No.
Oh yeah.
Can I just say that I think Saw 4 had, again, that one scarred me. So I feel like Saw 4 just had a lot of really brutal. Did Saw 4 also have the? Well, never mind. I'll ask in the next question.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, the fact that 2 ice blocks were able to squish the guy's head was pretty brutal.
Fun fact, that is Mark Wahlberg's brother, but I don't remember his name. As soon as I saw him, Ronnie Wahlberg or whatever. Like as soon as Donnie, okay. So as soon as I saw him, I'm like, hold on, is that Mark Wahlberg? Then I had to look again. I was like, oh no, he's a little bit different. So, but they look the same, so it's weird. And then he was cursing out I don't think he was Jigsaw. I think he was just another contestant in the game. He was calling him a motherfucker and everything. So I was kind of laughing a little bit. But that was pretty entertaining. But the next question is also, well, I guess it's not that hard. You just gotta think of the lamest trap and mechanical device escape scenario. Honestly, I would say whatever he gave to Amanda, because it's so easy. Just kill the other person. That's it. That's like, I would do that in my sleep just to get out. I'm not gonna lie about that. Because I think the key was in his body, I believe.
Yeah.
I think my least favorite one had, like, I forgot what it was or which movie it was in, but there was this one where this guy had like hooks in him, and that one was just like, that one just looked like was really unfair, especially the one where he had a hook just right in his jaw. Like, there's no way you're gonna survive that.
That was mine.
Oh.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to. I want to say those saw was it 5? Was it? Might be a little sooner, but yeah, that trap would not work. For starters, how did he get the chain through his jaw anyway without killing him?
Yeah, like he should have been dead already.
You know another lame one? It was the one in Saw 3 where the woman was bucky naked first and foremost, which was kind of weird. But there was the frosting cylinders on the side, and the guy had to get her down or whatever because she was like a witness to, I don't know, his child dying or some shit. So he had to get her down.
She would have frozen to death.
Yeah, she just basically freezes to death, and it's like, I don't know, it's just boring. There's something about it that's like very boring to me.
See, like, I had no problem with the trap itself per se. I just want to know the science behind it. How can she turn into a literal block of ice in a matter of seconds? So, like, what did he do? It's the science about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the temperature of the room is so cold that the water hitting her was just freezing faster than, like, her body temperature was cooling down so fast she couldn't keep it like wet. It was freezing.
Yeah, but wouldn't she be dead from the cold itself before the trap even initiated? Because no, like I said, the room is really cold. I'm pretty sure she would die from that.
Not necessarily. Your body can take colder temperature than what you think.
Maybe she got a little frostbite up there. No.
Yeah, shut up, bro.
Frank, get the fuck out. Is it every podcast now?
Yes, it is.
What? It's just a little pun.
No, just get out. Get out.
But yeah, I didn't like that one. I just thought it was just for a Saw movie and all the stuff they were doing, and the third one, that was just kind of boring. Same for the what is it? The guy in the pig guts, where he's getting drowned by that. I mean,
Oh, dude, that right there makes me cringe every time I see it. Like,
I mean,
it's so nasty.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that one.
it's gross though, because imagine just drowning in that stuff. Like, ugh. Just
Pretty sure
Yeah.
that was Saw 4 too.
What about the one where they're like, where they have to like fight? They're like picking through the needles or something.
The needles was 2. The pig guts was 3.
yeah.
Ugh.
I think people are traumatized by the needle one because, I mean, if you have a fear of being poked by those, then of course that leads to that obvious trauma, and you're not gonna want that. So just imagine
Never
thinking about that.
mind that. Imagine the type of diseases you were getting from those needles. Like, she got stuck with so many of them. The fact that she could even get up
Oh,
is astounding.
oh yeah, that scene where Amanda
It
was
when
in
she
there.
flying them, like flinging them. I said, "Are you not getting stabbed multiple times in the hands?"
Mm.
Yeah, and they were in her arms, so that was ugh. But any other traps that people just found lame or boring?
Well, maybe this is unpopular, but I didn't like the ones that were like inescapable because it kind of just goes against the whole thing, like Jigsaw giving them a chance. And yeah, oh yeah, you were fucked from the start. Like the dude that was like that said, yeah, we're putting you in the trap because you smoke too much, and if you breathe too hard, then you die. Like,
Oh yeah.
You cut me in line in front of Wendy's.
Therefore, I'm gonna cut you in half.
yeah, it seems like as the movies went on, like they started to get more ridiculous.
But also, Jigsaw died at one point, and all of the copycats seemed to like they weren't. I don't think they were going by Jigsaw's like philosophy at that point anymore, which is
Yeah,
also
that
a later
was-
question. So
Well, yeah, that's one big deal for one of the important characters too. But you know,
Another
That's not a
trap that
question,
I
right?
thought was also pretty unfair was the razor wire from the first movie, like where you just had to crawl around through this whole like maze or whatever. And that just no.
Is that the one where the guy was crawling through it and he was covered in gasoline? And if he
No, that was the flammable jelly one, which was also really dumb.
yeah. I just think it was no way out of that one. This was like when John was doing everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for this question, I wasn't so much thinking lame traps. I was thinking more like ones that that like
Make no sense?
not that make no sense, but just made me like I had to like turn away because it was just like too much. So the ice blocks was mentioned earlier. That one I never watched that one. And then the one where there was a person that was stuck inside the traps and all of his limbs were like connected to like these like rotating arms or whatever, and it ended up twisting each of his limbs, and his head was the final thing, and it ended up twisting his head all the way around. That one
Oh, that was my favorite.
fucked me up.
Yeah.
It fucked me up. It fucked me up. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Like even if you survive that, like I don't think I would want to keep living after like both of my feet are just twisting.
I couldn't do it. Now,
No.
if we are thinking of lamest trap, it was in 2. The lady that decided to try and get the antidote, and she put both her hands in the fucking razors. I was like, why would you put both your hands in the razors? I always question that one.
Yeah, there's some lame ones, but there's also like a lot of impractical ones that I guess could fall better under that parameter. So it's just, yeah, when you get to the inescapable territory, it just gets really weird. Token, you want to go next?
So I took the question in a different way as well. Not as much not like Des, but in a way where I took it as the least favorite, almost like Drill was talking about, where it was ones you couldn't escape. So I just thought it was pretty stupid of a design. So like the classroom trap we were talking about, the one that had the he had the chain through his mandible, that you already knew just by seeing that guy, he was completely fucked, because you are not going to be able to have enough force. I don't care how strong you are not going to be able to pull your mandible out of your jaw and survive that. That guy was just fucked from the start. I also really was not a fan of the pound of flesh 1 and 6, just because, like, so many of the traps, if you escaped, yes, you have like some scars or a little bit of mutilation of a sort, but it was like this one went to the extreme. I mean, it was whoever could cut off more of their body first and get it on the scale gets to live. Like, you're so mutilated at that point. Like, I really didn't like that one. And then in opposite of how I liked how everybody had to work together, for the second question, I didn't really like ones where your trap was based on somebody else saving you, because then to me it's not really your trap. You're kind of just, you have to rely on somebody else to save you, and I didn't really like that aspect for most of them, because like you could have no part of saving yourself. It was all on the reliance of somebody else.
I think probably the worst example of that was in Saw 3D, where they just straight up out of the trap, and I no, like, she did not deserve that.
I have one. I don't even know if you would call it a trap, but just fucking Jigsaw setting up the rigged shotguns all over the place. Like, I mean, the first time you saw it, it was kind of cool, but it kind of wore off as novelty after a while. You know, guy just walks in a room, trips a wire, shotgun goes off, he's dead. That's it. I just think it's kind of boring for someone to be killed like that. So it definitely felt a lot good.
I'm sorry, I was like, this should give us a bolt action next time. That'd be surprising.
Yeah. Or put like one of those fucking guns where you have to put the gunpowder in there and just have it take 8 years. But I think personally that those are just very boring, and the way they did it that was original was the shotgun carousel, because at least that had like a method behind it as opposed to the other ones.
Everyone is just instantly rehabilitated once they get a shotgun.
I guess we could move on to the next one, which is a good one. So what is your opinions on John Kramer's story? What do you think of Jigsaw's philosophies, ideals, and how he made an impact on the plot in this series?
Truth be told, though, like, he's probably one of the most interesting villains, horror villains out there. But he's also probably one of the biggest hypocrites as well. Because he said he want to give people a chance of life, right? But if you put them in a life or death scenario, then how they want to learn from that? You know, if they just straight up die. I think that's what makes him so fascinating. Like, even though he's kind of a hypocrite in my eyes, at the same time, though, like, he can make you listen to his point and probably try to convince you, something like that.
Yeah, it's not. I think Kramer is not just I'm an evil villain. I plan for world domination, stuff like that. He's interesting because a lot of his personal life sort of went down the spiral. I know that's gonna be pun intended, but yeah, it's the stuff with his wife and how she lost her baby, and how he just sort of gave up on humanity and how people acted.
Cancer.
Yeah, and the cancer thing as well. That was a big storyline. How, you know, people just didn't want to save him, so he just sort of decided to do this whole retribution kick to these people he decided to cast judgment on, and he's a central character in like mostly all of them. Like, a lot of flashbacks of him showing up and adding more exposition. So I would say he's one of the more fleshed out characters even after he was dead, because I was watching after Saw 3 and I was like, isn't this dude dead? Like, he still has these background schemes, and you see Hoffman working for him. I'm like, what the fuck? So
I tells you how powerful his influence was.
Yeah.
Like, even in death, this man will not go away because even in the sequels, like his legacy still lives on through copycats.
Yep. Any other thoughts on what people feel about John Kramer?
I mean, the guy is interesting, although I feel like killing him off so early was kind of it kind of felt like a mistake because then they just had to stretch the plot over, like saying, oh yeah, he was playing, oh yeah, he secretly had someone working for him this whole time. Hell, probably your next door neighbor works for Jigsaw too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. That created a domino effect of, okay, we got right around his death by still including him. So let's just bring in other subordinates he had.
Honestly,
surprisingly,
I
also,
remember someone saying they should have just either revealed that Jigsaw never died or just had like a twin or something. At least it means the series could go somewhere.
True.
Jim Kramer.
Jigsaw was never real. He was in our head.
Like in Jigsaw, where oh yeah, Jigsaw might be alive, but gotcha. It's from like 10 years. It's like a flashback from 10 years before the first movie.
How the heck was that all that set up though? Like that was honestly impressive that they were able to use a 10-year-old trap to influence the at the time modern day aspect. But was kind of silly at the same time though. Like whoever did that plan all that.
Yeah, it's like I said, he's smart, he's sophisticated, lots of humane aspects to him, but at the same time, he's a psycho. He's
Yeah, he is kind of a psycho and a bit hypocritical.
Yeah, but that's like I feel like those elements are what makes him interesting because even though it is the next question, I feel like the copycats did not live up to Jigsaw at all. Because they have their own sort of quirks and personality. Like some of them, I like some of the stuff they do, but just their own ideals makes less sense. So, anyone else on Mr. Jigsaw before we move on?
Honestly, like I did like while I do like understand like the way he is, like we said before, like he is a bit of a hypocrite at times. Like he always says that he never kills anyone. Like, okay, dude, then who put them in the traps? But
Yeah,
it also gets a bit confusing because he has like 3 different motives. Like it's the cancer, it's his child dying, it's the car accident. Just it gets a bit like convoluted with that kind of thing. But I still think he's a pretty interesting like antagonist despite that, because you can understand like why the way he is and stuff, but I like it just gets a bit weird as the series goes on.
Yeah, I remember the car accident too because I think Jill said that this is when he changed, when John Kramer became Jigsaw. After that, I was like, yeah, that's a lot of cramming in there just to change that narrative and go with how he is now. So I don't know. I feel like they could have shaved one motive off. Like you could have kept the baby being lost and him having cancer, and that would have been fine over just I got caught in the wreck. Now you know I feel a little evil today, so
I feel instantly rehabilitated.
I feel instantly rehabilitated. Tolkien, any thoughts on Mr. John Kramer?
I found him to be quite an interesting character. He kind of reminded me of like a lot of people IRL. Honestly, it's just like a good person that just gets completely shit on constantly in their life. Like he was like it seemed like he was a decent person, and then it's just multiple things just happened at the same time. Like we talked about the cancer, and then his insurance, as is insurance most of the time, it sucks ass and doesn't cover jack shit. And so he couldn't get any help with that, and then lost his child because his wife was doing a good deed. It's like the good people get shit on, and then that's why they turn the way they do. So I kind of liked the idea he had behind the traps and everything, and I think majority of the people that were put in them definitely deserve to be in them.
Oh yeah.
And I do think that quite a few of the ones that did get out did kind of learn from their experience. So I think what he was doing helped in a sense. But I do think there were quite a few that I didn't really think deserved to be in traps, or I know he tried to have like a protege through Amanda and like Hoffman and some of the other ones, but I just think they were like complete busts compared to him. And I mean, just like lots of other movies that have come out, there were in real life people that have tried to emulate Jigsaw in today's world, which I find really interesting. Of course, they were shit and got caught really fast, but it's just, that tells you how influential the movie was to people.
Yeah, I did post that in Horror Stories, like some pizza guy or whatever tried to emulate Jigsaw and the guy got killed, but he put him in a literal trap, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So I did see that before this podcast. I was like, that's something. that's all I can say. Holy shit. R.I.P. to that guy. Now, since we talked about the man himself, we have to talk about his clones, copycats. So, what do you think of Hoffman, Amanda, and William Schenkt as seen in Spiral? So, who wants to go first?
Yeah, I guess I'll go first. Honestly, the best one out of the bunch would probably be Hoffman, considering he's been under his wing the most. But he's also the most, well, I guess, naive, kind of. No, I don't think he was ready for the role type guy. He tried to emulate John Kramer too much though, but he ended up kind of betraying the philosophy he was, studying. I mean, for instance, he did kill John's wife, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would say if we picked somebody who got a lot of development, it would be Hoffman. He, again, going against the teachings, he was doing some interesting stuff, like, I mean, pretty much skirting with death, and then the stuff with Amanda and how, she was John's protege, and he was like a step ahead a little bit and trying to, learn the ropes. I thought that was cool. But if I were to say favorite, again, Hoffman got the most development. Then I actually did like William from Spiral. Like, you don't see him that much, and I think that's his flaw, so he would be like definitely behind someone like Hoffman. But William had a good motive in terms of trying to expose corruption within the police force and using all those traps against those folks who wronged others with their position of power. I thought that was a nice motive and concept. And at the end, it made it even more emotional when, and Des knows this too, when Samuel Jackson died in that movie. He got clapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the saddest part, because as soon as I saw him with the gun contraption and him turning to the police,
that was so wild.
They just put like 80 bullets in him. So that was a good sort of ending and bridge. I wouldn't mind if they made a spinoff and they elaborated more on his character. Is he still with the police force? Is he still fighting corruption from within, etc.? And I'm gonna say it, I just don't like Amanda because I feel like she's a bitch.
Yep.
I just feel that. That's why I don't like her that much.
Yeah, Brandon, were you done or?
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say I think like after thinking more in depth about this, well, kind of, because I don't remember a lot. I would like to also say like it was probably I think I liked, what was the guy in Spiral? Shank.
Yep.
I liked him because of the fact that he was fighting corruption. The only thing that was like a little weird about him was the fact that his traps were like not like, there's no way you're getting out of his traps. But then after him, I guess I would say Hoffman, and Amanda was kind of like, I feel like her motive for like doing anything, I don't really understand why Jigsaw chose her, because it seemed like she just ran off of pure like jealousy of other people.
Yep. That guy's wife or whatever. I just want to interject real quick. That guy's wife in the third one, when she shot her because she was jealous that she was trying to save Jigsaw's life from cancer. Like, what the fuck?
I didn't think that made sense either. So I think that one, after like watching through them, and I'm just confused as to why he ever chose Amanda or why he kept her. Just because like she didn't, like Hoffman seemed like he was, doing his thing. But Amanda just didn't really seem like she was fitting in with what Jigsaw wanted. I don't know.
I will give one defense of Amanda. It's honestly not much of one considering the character, but I think after that, her given what happened before she became a trap victim of Jigsaw, and then afterwards, though, I think she was highly impressionable.
That's true.
Because consider how easily she gets jealous over Jigsaw and how quickly she joined the side and yada yada. I think she was just highly impressionable at that point in her life.
So she was probably super Jigsaw, like people pleaser. It seems like, I guess.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, her role in the story is basically to aid John since he's dying, and do whatever it takes to make sure that he doesn't, even though it gets to a point in 3 where it's like it's kind of inevitable after he was coughing up blood in that scene where they were trying to sort of tilt his head a little bit. So I was like, yeah, he's probably gonna die in this movie. And lo and behold, it did happen, but not in the way that I expected it. So, you know what, Kat, I want to hear what you have to say about Amanda.
Oh my god, yeah, that's the first conversation I had when I joined this server, was you and I talked about Amanda.
Yeah.
So of the 3 copycats, honestly, I don't like any of the 3.
Really?
No. I know people wouldn't say he is, but I think Gordon was kind of a protege. I mean, considering he helped out on a lot of the traps and the kidnappings and things like that, he was just like a behind the scenes one. But I think like if you included him, he was the one that did a lot of what John was trying to do. He was the only one that really followed his plan. I mean, Amanda went off and did whatever she pleased. You couldn't get out of her traps. Hoffman was a giant creep. I could not stand the guy. I legit think he watched his own traps as they worked. I legit think the guy was wanking off watching people die in his traps.
What?
Like, that guy was just
he was a psychopath, yeah.
He was a creep, and I could not stand him. But I mean, of the 3, if I had to pick one, then I would have to say William was the best of the 3, but I didn't even really like him. But no, Amanda, oh my god, I cannot even describe to you the hatred I have for this woman. Like, cannot stand her.
Will was alright. It's just he wasn't in the movie a lot. That's the only thing that was going against him, but it's a plan of his that you can understand because all the cops were doing like really shady shit. But since you brought up Gordon, yeah, I would include him. I think Gordon was good. It's a guy who was once again in the same situation as a lot of these other people, just following Jigsaw's plan as much as he could. And I kind of like how he recited his line too after he took away the what is the saw blade so the guy wouldn't cut off his foot. He's like, not this time, nope.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't call not Hoffman Gordon a protege. He's more of a help hand type guy, but that also makes it a little bit more interesting in my eyes because like he wasn't directly being a protege of John, and yet he followed the philosophy better than anyone else did.
Yeah. So I think if they did make, and I know this is a later question, but I guess I could put it here. If they did make like a Saw 10 or whatever, I would like to see what would happen if they follow his story after all that shit went down.
Yeah, because he literally came out of left field after his appearance in the first movie.
Yep.
Yeah, as long as they don't introduce like more apprentices or proteges, because it got kind of ridiculous after with Jigsaw.
Yeah.
I feel like if we're speaking truthfully here, though, I feel like you need a little help after a while, you know?
He is old too. He can't do one on his
setting
own.
up the traps. Yeah, he was old. Yeah, he was old and he had cancer. So man's needed help.
He's old,
especially when you have to like make sure that the traps are going the way you need them to and whatnot.
Yeah, I was like, so I feel like sure, like I feel like the proteges or whatever, like it could be kind of annoying if they were to go that route again, but after a while, like I feel like you would absolutely need help.
Yeah, the premise makes sense. It's just I think what Drill's mainly referring to is that he had plans set up like for 10 years and they are now just coming to light. Like some of the Saw movies I watched, like they sort of went like that in the flashbacks. It's like, oh, I planned this whole time, and then it happens in the present. And it's weird. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that level of planning is like mastermind level. Like, holy crap.
Like that guy who said he was in a Jigsaw trap and wrote a book about it, but it turns out he wasn't, and then Jigsaw was there at his signing.
It's like, how do you find this guy? Like, oh my god.
And apparently the killings were going on long enough to become infamous.
Yep.
Yeah, like when did he get there? Because he shouldn't be in the hospital bed at that point, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He did have cancer.
Like it gets confusing.
But anything else on Apprentices before we move on?
Honestly, at least Hoffman was the most interesting to watch because of how crazy it got. Like that one time he he just got like a triple kill or something like that.
Jeez. I think the most harrowing example is when he was in the bottom of the floor as the other guy got like squished.
Oh.
Yeah, all because he didn't bother to finish the tape.
Yep.
Yeah, I felt so bad for that.
Oh yeah, you know what?
Yeah, that's big rip.
The people that get killed in this cell is also kind of dumb as people here. Like, the only stupidity gets him killed. Like in Saw 4 with the black guy, right? If he literally just, paid attention and just waited, he would have saved everyone. Everyone would have been fine. Instead, he went in Rambo style and got everyone killed, except for Hoffman, of course.
Oh
Yeah, because
that was like that, just stupid.
I guess because it's supposed to teach him not to go through doors or rush into things.
Yeah, they told him like, don't you are headstrong, don't rush into the door. First thing he did, rushed in there, he got shot, and then everybody else died.
Yep.
Moral of the story: never open doors.
But he's also a cop too, right? That should get him fired, considering like you never know what's behind the other door. It could be explosives there.
Yep. Yeah,
the dude is stupid. He kind of deserved to lose his badge and honestly his life, considering the optics of Saw. But still, what he did was super reckless and stupid.
That was the dumbest protagonist of the whole Saw series. The only thing I really commend him on is just killing the rapist. That's it. Because he was just like, you know what? Get in the bed and let the thing tear your arms off. Go ahead. That's it.
Honestly, I would have been the one to tear off the limbs.
I would have just shot him. I would be like, yep, my job is done.
You sure? Because I wouldn't want it to be quick, because he's never been quick.
Well, that works too. Just have it tear off his arms, and they'll be like, you know what, this is my fine art here. I'm just gonna leave.
Pull him out because he never pulled out.
Oh my god. Jeez, great. All right, we got to move on to number 6, which was interesting. Seeing some of the reviews of Saw and people saying, critics mostly saying it's just low-end torture porn. How do you guys feel about people just generalizing Saw like this as if there's no other merits outside of just being torture porn?
I think it's both fair and unfair. At the surface level, if you literally only see the traps after a certain point, like say after Saw 4 or at Saw 4, I can kind of get it. But as I'm saying, people who don't pay attention to the movies and understand the lore behind it, though, because it's a lot more than just torture porn.
Yeah.
That's like saying, it's like with the Friday the 13th boy, for example, right? There's more to Jason than just killing, right? He's a tragic character who just, unfortunately, became a serial killer. There's more to it than just the surface level shit.
Yeah, there is a story going on. I think if we circle back to question number 4, you can see that they clearly set up Kramer to be somewhat, sympathetic with his plight and how they fleshed that out in this world building. So it's just not torture porn, but if you're just simply looking at the traps and that's it, I wouldn't also say it's not something that people don't come and show up for. You know what I mean? It's like people want to see folks die in the most meticulous and weirdest way possible with Saw. So it is a DNA trait. I wouldn't say it's a negative, but I would also say it's not just torture porn 24/7. They're telling a story and it's there, and people need to be like paying attention, you know?
Yeah, like I agree, because if you look up like the definition of torture porn says it's a genre of film where the sadistic torture or violence is the main plot of the movie. Anybody that watches the Saw movies could tell you, yeah, it's a lot of the movie, but it's not the main plot of a movie. If I was going to give you a torture porn movie, I would tell you it's Hostel, but definitely not Saw. Hostel is a freaking torture porn.
So so I agree with you guys. I'm gonna start with that, but like I can understand, Brandon, what you were saying about like if people didn't pay attention, then you can kind of see why they would think that. Because I'm gonna bring up software again. When I first watched that was pretty much my mind. I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is so unnecessary. Like, why are they doing this? Like, what is going on? But like going back and watching everything from like Saw 1, there is a story. You have to pay attention to it. And you just gotta watch it. You just gotta watch it. It's a lot more going on, and it makes the movies interesting. Like they're not just these movies where you're just watching people get killed for whatever reason. Like all these characters have backstories. There's a backstory to Jigsaw and why he's doing what he's doing. I even thought it was interesting. It kind of sucks that he was kind of like really weirdly a therapist in a sense in the first couple of movies, just being like, oh, you didn't really appreciate life, so here you are. If you can get out, then hey, you have a second chance at life. But like, it's more to the story than just, oh, hey, everybody's getting killed for like no reason.
Yep, I agree. Any other opinions on the it's just a torture porn and that's it opinion? Going once, going twice. Sold to the hooker in red. Okay. Let's us continue to number 7, which is Spiral. So it's only for the people who watch Spiral. Spiral was said to invent the series in a new way. Have you seen Spiral: The Book of Saw? If so, what were your overall thoughts on the filmmakers trying something fresh with the spinoff? Who wants to go first?
Oh, you go at this.
So I was gonna say, I wrote initially that I didn't think it was really fresh, just in terms of like, oh, people are being put in traps and like they're going to die or not die, right? But once you like, I guess, watch the movie and get to the end and realize like who the who the person is that's putting everyone through. Well, basically, like once you, I forgot his name.
Shank?
Yes, Shank. Once you figure out that it's like Shank and he's doing what he's doing because like he has his reasons for doing what he's doing and he's taking down the cops. Like I feel like that was a fresh idea because it wasn't just like random people off the street. Like he's just trying to take down corrupt cops. Like so I thought it was fresh in like that sense, and maybe the sense that like there's no way they're getting out of their predicament. Maybe it's like fresh in that sense, but I didn't really think it was like a fresh like idea.
Yeah, like never been done. I agree with you because this movie is okay. I guess if you want to say the positives of that spin, it's cool that they had upbeat protagonists like Chris Rock and you had Samuel Jackson, Mr. Motherfucker. It's cool they had that, but at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, this is, it's not as fresh. It's still like a Saw movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of agree. When I first heard it was coming out, it almost reminded me of when the newer Batman was coming out this year. So many people dogged on Pattinson, saying he was going to be the shittiest Batman ever. And when Jigsaw was coming out, so many people were saying that it was going to be shit because it had Samuel L. Jackson and Chris Rock in it. And just like in Batman, when it became a super popular movie and Pattinson did so good in it and just slayed his role, I think it was almost, in a way, the same with Jigsaw. I think Chris Rock and Samuel Jackson did a wonderful job in the movie, and really showed the haters that they could do other movies besides comedy and things like that. But I I liked the movie for the most part. I do think, though, for me at least, it was a little bit predictable. I ended up figuring out who the killer was before the end. There was one particular trap. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like, to me, it just seemed really obvious that it was him.
Oh, you're talking about the one where they were in the excuse me, I got a little bit of coat, but they were in the warehouse and it was him on the floor. It was supposed to be Shank's body, and they couldn't ID him for whatever reason because it's like, oh, he had his head smashed in, but one of his hands is missing. So I was like, that one was weird. I was like, why is one of the hands missing on the detective, and why can't they ID who he is? That was kind of weird, even though they knew it was him.
If they couldn't ID him, that makes sense if just by the face and handprint though. But if they do like a DNA test, wherever, they should find out who that person is.
Yeah. It was weird because when the hand was missing, that just tells me that it wasn't his body. That kind of like just stuck out like a sore thumb to me.
Yeah, I think that's what really, it just made it so obvious to me that it was just not right, and that he was like super sus. It's just like, yeah, I mean, they could have done it a little bit differently and not made it so obvious, but that was one of the things I didn't like. But overall, I do think the movie was really good.
Damn, I was gonna.
I definitely do agree with you talking though. Like Chris Rock and Sam were honestly probably the best characters we had in a long time in any Saw medium.
Yep.
Like especially Chris Rock, he carried that movie with his goofy one-liners.
So, what would you rate Spiral of the series?
Well, a number rating, I'll probably give it like a 7.5, 8 on a good day. But yeah, I definitely did enjoy that one.
Yeah, it was very entertaining. They didn't reinvent the wheel. I just feel like they added on to it, and this movie was the one where Jigsaw kind of took a backseat because they didn't have him in like 80,000 flashbacks or anything in this movie, which I kind of appreciated, to be honest. Yeah, that was cool.
But what I really enjoyed though about the movie is that instead of just doing what Jigsaw did as far as like taking rid of people who don't enjoy life, right? He's just taking corruption and trying to make them change, and no, that's pretty much it, right? And they survive. They don't. I just like that premise though. I just think that it could have been. You should have the survivability aspect there a little bit more, because like, let's be honest here though, like again, some of those traps are impossible to get out of.
That subway, the subway tongue one, I don't think that dude was ever getting out of that. No.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
Then again, though, it could have been on purpose too, because he just purposely trying to weed out all these people. So,
well, I think all of the traps, though, wasn't it all of the traps? It was just there was no, like, I'm thinking about that cop that had what was poured on her face. I can't remember what was poured on her face.
It was like motor oil or something like that.
I thought it was wax.
But it's just it just seemed like a lot of those traps, there wasn't any way you were getting out of it.
See, like that one right there, she could have actually been fine if Chris Rock stepped up the pace. He was walking a little too slow.
He was going too slow. I was so mad about it. I was like, why are you walking so slow, my man?
She would come out pretty burnt though if someone got her face up, but I think she could have got out of there alive if he was faster.
I will say, I was one of those people that didn't think that Chris Rock would. He surprised me. Like,
yeah, he did.
I was surprised.
Yeah, mainly because you only know him from comedies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he did great.
He had some funny moments in this movie, but when stuff started getting serious at the end and his partner started dying and he got desperate, I really liked that change in his dynamic. I thought that was really cool that he went from, I'm joking and everything, I'm playing around with my job and I have my boys. Now it's just like when his friends started dying, he started going against the superiors and everything, and I'm like, this is cool. Actually, I never got to see him in like a serious role. So I think if they were trying to do that, show he could be serious, show that we're not gonna include like 10,000 Jigsaw flashbacks, and that we're going to try to do something different with the corruption angle, they succeeded there. But overall, it still is a Saw movie, like through and through. They do follow the beats, the formula. It's not like they reinvented it where everything is fresh, you know what I mean? So that's what I think of Spiral. Anyone else? Oh, going once.
No, well, people say it's really good, and I should really check it out.
You should. It's entertaining movie, fun time.
Honestly, it sounds like a breath of. And so, well, I just never got to it. Maybe I'll get to it now since I have more free time.
I think you'll like it. You'll probably.
Yeah, especially since you can only do so many Jigsaw flashbacks, and Tobin Bell is getting old. So yeah. So wait, did you guys have a question about like the Saw games?
No.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Saw games. I'm surprised,
Oh.
Ren.
I've
forgot
never
those
really played
existed.
them. I just know that they're not good.
Yeah,
I
they
watched-
sucked.
Okay, honestly though, they're actually pretty good, like pretty decent. Like especially the first one. Second one is a little sus, but I did like the first one a lot. I think honestly, Konami could have made a series out of those if they had like a more quality studio work on them, because they were fun games, even if they weren't the best in the field.
Yeah, I never played the Saw games, so I don't really have an opinion. I see other people play them, and they look funny to me, but
I think in the character in the first games, like Danny Glover's like characters, like son.
Tap, yeah.
Yeah.
Are the games canon?
I don't know actually.
I'm not sure. I know like the first one takes place like the first game takes place between like after the first movie, I think.
Because like the traps and settings is like so elaborate. There's no way this is actually canon to the Saw series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard the developers they want to make a third one, but that would be a nice franchise to do. Like, hey, this is horror puzzles. If you don't get out, you'll die in the worst way possible, or you have to save other survivors. Or one cool thing about that game is other survivors would try to kill you. So that's pretty entertaining. They got traps on them too, and they're trying to like say, hey, you got the key inside your body. I need that.
Yeah, and you had to like be careful for doors because some of them were shotgun like doors.
Yep, it was a quick time event, and if you didn't press the button on time, then your head goes into a bundle of watermelon. So yeah.
Yeah, like I've heard people say the first one's actually decent. The second one's like more divisive.
Well, they should make more Saw games. Just I don't know. I don't think Konami is gonna put in the effort to even care or bother, even though the original directors they want to do another one. So if I had any advice, I would say just go independent and see what you could do, and if people like it, they'll definitely pick it up.
Yeah, but honestly though, Saw definitely doesn't need a budget because that was ultimately the biggest issue with the first two games. Like the budget was not there for them to, get the polishing done.
I guess at most, if they went independent, I would say double A. That'd be nice because at least the game will have a little bit of money behind it. But yeah, I can definitely see the opinion of they look kind of cheap looking back at it now. I mean, if you compare the graphics of those games during the time to something like Red Dead, it's like night and day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even for the time they came out, pretty damn cheap looking.
Yep. Any other questions on the video games before we move on?
Yes.
Nah, I never played them. I just watched people play them, and they looked interesting.
You should play them for October.
Oh, true? Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
I mean, would you guys be against? Would you guys be for like a modern port of it?
I wouldn't mind out of curiosity's sake, but who published them, they aren't gonna do anything about that, so it just sucks very, very hard.
I mean, doesn't
If I
Lionsgate
remember
still
right-
owns the rights?
Well,
If I remember
not
right-
about.
Sorry.
You talk about the movies of the game. Sorry, I stepped out for a second.
The games.
The games.
The game, yeah, Konami, I think still has a license for the game. So, yeah.
Oh god, fuck Konami. Come on. I would love to play those, but I know that either the prices for them are probably insane right now, or they're never gonna port it. It's gonna be one or two ways.
Well, there's one way you could get them though, but I hope you have an eye patch and a fancy hat, because you know
Oh,
that's the
you're
only way to get them right now.
Oh, you're hard. If I have to, I will, cause that is ridiculous. But is that it for the Saw games, or you guys want to move on to the next question?
It is $60 on Amazon for used. Oh my god.
No, that's definitely a used game.
Too much.
Why
yeah.
why $60 for used?
Well, I don't
Because the
even think
game
they
is
make it new.
rare now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah, it's rare, limited print. No, it's highly sought after.
On 360, it's $59.99. On PlayStation 3, it's cheaper. When I know how much it is,
How
A
much?
nickel.
$57.99.
Oh, sweet, man. You're getting a raw in the deal.
Yeah, just a couple of bucks off, and you'll be fine. All right, let's talk about Saw 10. So apparently, I heard that they have a script. They want to do this movie, but nothing is in the works. I think they said James Wan was going to produce again, but he's so busy with Aquaman and other stuff that he just can't. So if they did make Saw 10, what would you want for them to do so the formula doesn't get stale?
Honestly, I don't have a definitive answer because it's kind of hard to say what they can do or should do. This shit is kind of complicated.
Yeah, it's a complicated answer. I guess if I were to say something simple, I would say just make it original. That's it. Like I just don't want it to feel the same as the last 9 movies. And if you're going to draw inspiration, then take some of the plot elements that worked, maybe add in Gordon, but don't necessarily say, hey, we need Tobin Bell again in order to push the backstory and have like several thousand flashbacks. I just want a new interesting killer with a new motive that may be influenced by Jigsaw, but he's his own person, so to speak. Like I said, we talked about Spiral. I think the guy had an interesting backstory in terms of why he wanted to do it. So just make a new sort of imitation, but I don't know, put like lore and story behind it to the level of Hoffman. That would be interesting, in my opinion.
Straight to the film series.
For Saw,
Yeah,
yes. But you know what, I guess I could do is a little add on here. So as I was saying, I think a great thing for a new Saw movie for Saw 10, make it based on the 7 deadly sins. The guy wants to put his victims in traps who he thinks are sinners, like 7. It's like, here, you are gluttony, you're lust, you are wrath, etc. And that would be a great way to do a Saw movie. I understand it's not the most original idea, but it is the most interesting idea. And there we have it. I finally have my great idea. Thank you so much, Des. Because now I feel dumb for not mentioning it. Oh yeah, make all the protagonists very, very, I don't know, just flesh them out on the same level, and I think I would really enjoy it, because honestly, some Saw protagonists I really do not care for, like the cop in Saw 4 who decided to say, hey, I'm Rambo, I'm gonna shoot through this door, and he gets shot. So someone less stupid, please. Anyone else any opinions on what they should do for Saw 10?
I think it's like you said, make it original, unique traps, and then honestly, I would want, as we stated earlier, like more story on Gordon, because I do think that he was a bigger part than was shown in all the movies. So I mean, I would appreciate more of see what he's done behind the scenes.
I mean, he became a chef though, so like I don't know, like yelling people on national TV.
Yeah, and also I've heard some rumors say that that it's gonna have John Kramer be the lead. John Kramer and Jigsaw return for the 10th movie.
Oh, that man's
And
getting
they
so
do that,
old.
man. He should be in voice only. Do not do like type shit.
Yeah, at least keep the Billy voice. I know we're gonna talk about that doll later, but at least do that, because one thing I didn't like about Spiral actually is the killer's voice, because it was so bad.
Oh, it was too comical. I don't think I took it seriously either.
It sound like Riddler, as a 12-year-old.
How are you
Is that
today?
what he said? Hold on, I gotta go listen to it really quick.
How are you today? I want to play a game. It's just, I was like, it was not convincing. It was not intimidating. It was just really bad when he was projecting through the killer. But you know, just keep his voice. Don't change Billy. Make him creepy, and that's all I need. I don't need Tobin Bell himself. I think he's done enough for the franchise, in my opinion.
Like I said, if it's only in voice via Billy the Puppet, whatever, I'm fine with him coming back. But that's about it. Like, yeah, leave Tobin alone. Let him rest.
Yep.
He's old.
He's old. Let him sleep, and you know, he sees that nurse that's thick. You know, let him do that.
Ren,
Just let Tobin Bell be instantly rehabilitated.
Hey, look, man, he want to play a game with the nurse. Let him do it.
Oh my god.
So I just listened to the Spiral Killer's voice. He sounds like Kermit the Frog.
He does.
No, don't.
does.
I'm never gonna unthink this.
He does. I swear.
I think I said that in the when we watched it.
Kidding.
Hello, want to play a game?
Oh, Kermit the
Oh my
Frog here.
God. Stop.
It does sound like that.
Don't
It's
ruin it. Don't do it.
It's so
Damn,
bad.
You want to play?
And Ren.
Yeah, keep Tobin Bell's voice, please, for the love of God, or get someone. I don't know. Who's that guy who does the voice of Spawn? I keep forgetting his name. Keith David. Let him be a killer or something. He will sound intimidating.
Yeah, Keith David's all like. Honestly, I don't care what the reason is. I just want to listen to Keith David's voice.
Yeah, he can read me a bedtime story, man. I'm saying.
Mm.
Tell me about it.
Oh my God.
What's wrong, Tobin?
Nothing. No comment.
No. What's wrong?
Nope.
Nope.
Hater.
Mm.
Hater.
Piss off.
Okay.
No, you.
No.
All right. So, any other opinions on Saw 10 before we move on? Oh.
Yeah, can we play a game?
Oh man. Well, we're about to find out with this next sort of question. All right, so the doll that likes to ride on the tricycle, Billy the Puppet, makes that cackling noise that everyone loves. What do you guys think of him?
I like him. I think it's clever to use him as opposed to walking into the room yourself to deliver the note. Like, I thought, especially because I feel like there were instances where, like, I can't remember for sure, but the doll could have gotten messed up or whatever. But I feel like it was a good way for John not to walk into that room and get hurt himself.
Yeah, it's
I found it super creepy considering from what I read, this doll was originally supposed to be a gift to his unborn child. To give your unborn child this creepy ass doll is already, in my opinion, really fucked up. But then to like his hatred and sadness from losing his kid to then turn around and start using it in his games is like twice as fucked up. It's so messed up.
I think it's kind of funny. Like, first off, babies already cry a lot. That baby was definitely bound to cry a whole hell of a lot if it saw Billy. But that is really interesting that he ended up just being like, well, I don't know what to do with it now. Oh, I have an idea.
Yeah, it's supposed to be creepy and scary and something.
I was gonna say, if you're talking, you're muted, dude.
Fuck again.
Stupid.
You're stupid.
That is.
All right, so as we talk about Billy again, it is creepy. It is scary. It does this intended job of Kramer not walking into a room and getting, because some of these traps, like some of these people have guns, so you know he could just walk in there and get blasted. So it is good that the puppet is there to convey that message, and also just, I don't know, the way it moves and everything by itself, you question the logic behind it, but at the same time it is just like, it's supposed to be this force that tells you, I want to play a game before that game actually happens and the person gets grievously injured. So I think it does its job in terms of setting up the scene and describing how you get in or how you get out and leaving the person there to their own devices.
Literally.
Anyone else with opinions on this doll?
I mean, it's iconic, kind of
It's
like
cute.
it's an iconic look for the series. Something, I guess, kind of like the doll from Child's Play as well.
Yeah.
I was also thinking of Sam from like Trick or Treat.
Yeah, I guess you could also bring up the pig face as well. But Billy the Puppet's really what you think of when Saw comes up.
The pig is just, I don't know, it's funny because it just comes out of nowhere to attack people, and it's just sort of hilarious in my opinion. How people just get jumped by the person wearing the pig mask, and then I guess that sort of became like a precursor to what's her name, Amanda, wearing it because she was like in that costume a lot of times. But yeah, the doll is just a lot more known because it's just prominent, and the voice matches, and it's creepy. And if I ever saw that thing, I would kick it in the shin, and maybe the balls. I don't know if puppets have balls, but
Oh my god.
just find out by kicking it. So pay me no mind though.
Oh god.
So any other opinions on this before we move on to the last one, and then maybe we'll get guest callers in here. Going once, going twice. Sold to the guy who wants to play a game. All right.
I was
Long...
gonna,
Oh, go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, was there a question about like the iconic theme as well?
No, but I think you're talking about Hello Zap, right?
Yeah,
Yes. It's not a question on here. I will go first, I guess, on this. I think that theme is great. There, like, it all started with the first film, and then you see that sort of shocking revelation that the guy in the middle of the floor is like not dead, and you find out that was John the whole time, and it starts playing, and that's when the iconic game over happens. So I guess they had to keep reusing that theme because it's just so fucking great for like a plot reveal. It's like, oh
Yeah.
shit, so something is it's so great for a twist that I can't see a Saw film. Even Spiral used it like at the end.
yeah, because the theme is just so iconic now.
It's also actually just like kind of a bop though. Like
Yeah, it really is.
it's kind of a bop.
Did they do a rap music around it?
Yes, it did. There was a Hello Zap rap theme, and I listened to it one time. And I was like, you know what, this is pretty hot, but I haven't listened to it in a long time. So yeah.
When you're getting up in the middle of the night and then hear the song playing.
All right, I'm just punching somebody after that. I'm gonna say fuck it. Somebody gonna get knocked out because I can't have that going on at the middle of the
Man,
night.
walk into the bathroom, and try to do your business, and then music plays.
Why, Brandon? Damn it.
He's like, "Hello, Renegade. I'm here to play a game."
Hello, operative.
Oh, just you know what? We need to see more of that. Someone Hello Zap starts playing, someone's tied to a trap in the bathroom, and they have to get out. It's like, you know, the consequences and the choice is yours. Drop a deuce or die.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Any other opinions on the theme, I guess?
It's hot. Move on.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's the most you can say. It's really good. And I don't think you can reinvent Saw like 8,000 times. You can't remove that. That's just 100% needed for plot twist. All right, so we're gonna move on to the last question as I call on the guest callers and see if they will come and participate after this. But ranking the series, a lot of movies. Who wants to go first?
I'm glad I made a tier list maker for this one.
All right, go ahead.
I'll wait. Oh, you want me to go? All right.
Yeah.
What's ours though? And number 1 would be Saw 2. Number 2 would be Saw 1. 3 would be I would say Spiral. And then Saw 3. I like Jigsaw a lot more than most people do. And then Saw 4. Saw 5, and garbage bin tier would be the last 2 Saw movies, which is 6 and 7. To give the last one credit though, at least it was entertaining. You know, it had a lot of cool action sequences in it. Well, I felt like the movies felt unnecessary. You could literally skip that one and call it a day. But yeah, I think 6 is probably the worst Saw movie out there. Kinda.
Anyone else?
How you dead?
He's
Oh,
muted.
I'm back. I'm
How
back.
you dead?
That happens. Anyone else?
I was looking at this ahead. Oh, sorry, Charlie. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, haven't seen Spiral, so yeah, I can't say much about it. I'd probably say the best one for me is still the first one because that's when it like felt like an actual like murder mystery, and they didn't like get obsessed with like all the gore and stuff. The second one, I mean, it's just repeating what the first one had, but it's not bad.
Mhm.
I guess it would go first, second, third, then 4, 5, then 4, 5, 6, 7, and then Jigsaw.
Damn, I have not seen. Well, I seen bits and pieces of everything past Saw 6. So I'm just gonna rank what I've seen so far off the top of my head. I would say the first one, iconic, great, amazing movie. No, actually, I'll put the second one over the first one, and then down there would be, in terms of sheer enjoyment, I would say Saw 3, then Saw 4, and then Spiral. And then after that would be all the trash or bad ones. I did not like 5 that much at all. I thought that was where, when they started introducing Hoffman for the first time, even though interesting backstory, that was when you felt the presence of that character could not hold a candle to Kramer's, not his fault because they develop him later on, but the presence was lost after he really died. And you felt it in that movie, and it's just kind of boring. So I would assume the other movies probably follow suit. I did hear that 3D was not that good. And yeah, I'm gonna get around to that eventually and see if I can refresh my memory. But yeah, that's my ranking so far.
I got really scared because your list is almost the same as mine, I think.
Oh god.
We were the same for most or all of it, I think, actually. I saw 2, saw 1, saw 3, saw 4, and then Spiral. And then after that was Jigsaw, saw 6, saw 5, and then saw 3D. I don't know why Saw 2 is my favorite, but like it's always been my favorite, and I have no idea why. But I think Saw 1's twist, I was kind of like trying to figure out like where to put those two because I wasn't sure if 1 should go first or 2 should go first, but it was the twist in Saw 1 for me.
Yeah, like
that definitely just kept it like up there in the second spot at least.
I like how the traps got more elaborate in Saw 2, and overall a good bulk of that movie because of that was interesting due to the tension alone, which is why I slightly give 2 the edge over 1. But 1 is just, I don't think that ending and that twist could be topped if I were to really get deep into it, because it caught me by a big surprise.
Now, on top of it being the first twist of twists, it was also did it the best without it, shoehorning.
Yep, because as soon as he got up on the floor, I was like, what? I thought that motherfucker was dead. Like, crazy.
I think honestly Saw 2 might have been up there for me because of the fact that like the whole time everything was taking place in the past and the son was just locked in a safe while the dad was there. Like you were right there. You just had to wait. But I think that was also a twist that like I was just like, oh shit, I thought this was all happening at like simultaneously.
Oh man. Anyone else with their list?
I think I had a couple that were the same as everybody else. 2 as well is my favorite of all of them. I really don't know why. I think it's more so the fact that it was traps where they all could have worked together, I guess, to figure it out. 1 is my second favorite, and then I had 3, and then I really like 6 for whatever reason. I think it's mostly the traps. So I had 6 as my 4th, and then I had Spiral, and then Jigsaw, and then I had 7, and then 4, and then 5 was my least favorite. The only thing I liked about 5 was the fact that the people were so stupid that they couldn't figure out that they could have done all the traps together. It was the best thing about it. But just the amount of Hoffman I had to watch, that's probably why I hated it so much. It's just I could not stand the guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you a Hoffman postcard.
I will burn it.
Send it anyway.
Good, give me pleasures.
My God.
Do it, damn it. Anyone else went on theirs? Or new? Alright, go once, go twice, and we will put you in the frying pan for the game. Alright, I think that's it. So far, no guest callers so far, so I think we can wrap up and do the outros for the show. So I guess I'll go first. My name is Renegade Operative. You can find me on YouTube at Renegade Operative. You can find me on Twitter at RenOperative_, and you can find me on Twitch at Renegade_Operative. I will be uploading this podcast on Infinite Ammo Syndicate, so look forward to that. And that's it for me. So, Des, what is your outros?
Okay, so I am VersaVulture24 on Twitch, but I'm also Desiree_Veronica on Twitter. Those are the only 2 socials I really use, so if you want to follow me there.
Brandito?
Sure. I mean, you can find me on Twitter at Immortal Brandle, Twitch at Sword Brandle. Everything else is none of your goddamn business. I have a link tree, so check it out.
Drillbit?
Yeah, you could find me on Twitter at Drillbit777. That's really where I'm only active at right now.
Tolkien.
You can find me at Lady Tolkien on YouTube, and then on Twitter, I am Lady Tolkien 7.
Lady Hoffman.
Shut up.
And last but not least, Mr. Austin.
And he's dead. Hoffman got him.
I think Billy the dog got him.
Hey, you want to play a game? He went to play a game.
Riding in on his tricycle. Let me see. Oh, I can't find him on social media, but
damn, some host viewer.
Give me a second. I'll find it. We're playing a game here, the game of charades.
So, is recording over?
No, not yet. Okay, so you can find Mr. Austin at Cool Austin, and he's on Twitter at Red Barrels God. So you can find him there. Also, I will link him in the intro, so you do not miss a beat. And there, I've done my job. The podcast is over. Thank you for everyone participating. My name is Jigsaw. I'm going to put you in a trap, and we will see you guys next time. Later.
Why am I even here?
And we're holding him in the Venus flytrap right now. Don't worry, it's going to go off in like 5 seconds.
Wait, what?
Oh, fuck, am I too late?
Oh, we're doing outros.
Like I had to dip out for a bit because I had to get dinner.
No, it's fine. I outroed you myself.
Thank you.
I let the audience know.
Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna be gone for too long, but there were some complications and whatnot.
Yeah, it's good. I outroed you, so we're gonna end the show, and we will see you guys out there next time. YouTube land, Spotify land.
Hurry up and end it. Oh shit.
Look, I gotta put a little pizzazz on it, you know. Bye, people. Bye.
We gotta work. Move.